You killed my brother.
I made a mistake.
Well, yeah, what's that?
I should have killed your ass first.
The movie begins with three men hunting in a dense forest. While chasing their prey, Dale separates from the group. He spots the target and prepares to shoot, but a bald man suddenly appears, pushes him into a ravine, and kills him. The attacker is revealed to be Ryan Verrett, a former police officer driven by vengeance after his family was brutally murdered years ago. Dale was one of the men involved in the murders. After killing him, Ryan headed to a small town called Hope. The town was controlled by a violent motorcycle gang that even the sheriff feared. But Ryan, knowing the risk, remained determined to continue his mission. On his way in, he stopped at a gas station to pick up supplies and ask about a place to stay. The innkeeper, Kirby, told Ryan about the town's only motel, run by a young woman named Darcy, because most people stayed away from Hope. Her motel rarely had guests. When Darcy met Ryan, she was surprised by his courage to come to such a dangerous place. Ryan stayed calm and only said he had business to do. At the same time, FBI agent Frank and his team were searching for Dale, a known murderer and rapist. As they talked, another agent rushed in with news Dale had been found dead. The story then shifted to Ryan's past, back when he was still a police officer. In that memory, he was at a party with family and friends when a gang of criminals suddenly stormed in and opened fire. The shooting turned the celebration into chaos, killing many people, including Ryan's family. The attack was led by Drake Santiago, the ruthless gang leader who hated the police for putting him in prison. Fueled by revenge, he targeted the officers and their families. Ryan, one of his victims, survived the ambush even after being shot. Back in the present, as Ryan drove through town, he noticed a row of motorcycles outside a building, an ominous sign that trouble was waiting for him again. A biker came out of the building, angry at a dog that wouldn't stop barking at him. Furious, he pulled out a gun to shoot it. Before he could fire, Ryan stepped in quick, calm, and relentless. He disarmed the biker and beat him down, sending a clear warning. The noise soon alerted the rest of the gang inside. The gang rushed outside to see what was happening, led by their boss, Drake Santiago. He didn't recognize Ryan, which wasn't surprising given the many lives he had taken over the years. Even though Ryan had just beaten one of his men, Drake decided to ignore it for now, as he had bigger problems to handle.
You want me to wait here?
Still, Ryan's sudden appearance bothered him. Suspicious, he told his younger brother, Rexo, to secretly follow the bald stranger. The next morning, Rexo returned with bad news. A local club owner had refused to pay their protection fees. Enraged, Drake chose to handle it himself. He challenged the man to a one-round boxing match, promising that if the owner won, he'd never have to pay again. Though older, Drake was still powerful and quickly defeated his burly opponent in the boxing match. Instead of dragging out the fight, he let the man live, knowing the dead can't pay debts. Drake valued fear more than killing. His gang's money didn't just come from protection fees, they also profited from other crimes, including meth labs spread across the area. Despite running a growing empire, Drake stayed cautious, especially about Ryan. That evening, Rexo went to Darcy's motel, demanding to know if a bald man named Ryan was staying there. Darcy refused to answer, which only made him angrier. He threatened her, promising to make her life miserable if she didn't talk. Hearing the threats from inside, Ryan stepped in, and this time, he didn't hold back. Ryan struck fast and took Rexo down. Shaken, Darcy warned him that Rexo wasn't just another thug, he was Drake's younger brother, leader of the gang that controlled the town. If Drake learned what happened, he would seek revenge. But Ryan didn't care. He dragged Rexo to the gang's drug lab, tied him to a car.
Swear to you, I didn't hit her. That's a lie. That's not why I'm here. I know why you're here, man. My brother, man.
And sent it crashing into the middle of the facility. The crash set off a huge explosion, destroying the lab and burning Rexo in the fire. Ryan walked away, grimly satisfied as his plan succeeded. Moments later, Drake and his gang arrived, panicked by the wreckage. They could only watch as the lab burned. When they discovered Rexo's lifeless body, Drake was overcome with rage, knowing his brother was dead. Moments after the explosion, the sheriff and his deputy arrived to investigate. Finding Drake's gang still there, the sheriff tensed. Enraged, Drake walked up to him and issued a cold threat. He warned that if the sheriff ever interfered with the gang, he would kill his entire family. Terrified, the sheriff stayed silent. The sheriff convinced himself that letting the gang operate might prevent even greater violence in town. The next day, Ryan made his move against one of their trucks carrying meth to another city. He followed it quietly, then deflated a tire, forcing the driver to stop and get out. As soon as the driver stepped out, Ryan attacked, slamming his head against the truck door. Without hesitation, he set off an explosion, sending the vehicle up in flames. A gang member saw it happen and rushed to tell Drake. Learning the truck had been carrying a major meth shipment, Drake exploded with rage. He had just lost a fortune. Blinded by revenge, Drake became determined to find out who was responsible and soon began to suspect Ryan. To get answers, he had his men drag Kirby to the gang's base. There, he ordered Kirby to help investigate Ryan and expose his true identity. If Ryan was behind the explosion, Drake swore he would kill him without hesitation. Terrified and with no choice, Kirby gave in to Drake's orders. That same day, he began looking into Ryan. He started with Ryan's car parked near the motel, hoping to find clues about his past. But as he searched, Ryan suddenly returned and caught him in the act. Nervous, Kirby quickly covered by inviting Ryan to his house for a drink, just a short walk from the motel. Ryan wasn't easily deceived. As soon as they reached Kirby's house, he confronted him about searching his car. Cornered, Kirby admitted that Drake had ordered him to investigate. Before they could say more, the roar of a motorcycle outside cut them off. It was Crab, one of Drake's henchmen, arriving to challenge Ryan. The fight was quick, and though Crab was strong, Ryan defeated him with ease. Instead of killing him, Ryan chose to let him go. Meanwhile, Drake pressed further into his investigation and spoke with the police chief. During their talk, he learned a key detail. Ryan wasn't just anyone. He was a former cop who had left the force after his family was brutally murdered. Thankful for the information, Drake paid the police chief and left. That night, while Kirby was asleep, Drake and his men went to his house to deal with him. When Drake found out Kirby had failed to learn anything useful about Ryan, his anger boiled over. As punishment, he ordered Crab to take care of him. The next morning, Ryan found Kirby's dead body. Realizing Drake's gang was behind Kirby's death, Ryan moved fast. He stormed one of Drake's clubs, cutting down every gang member in his way. He captured Crab, shoved him into his car trunk, and ended his life without mercy. Ryan then dumped the body in front of the gang's headquarters as a grim warning. When Drake learned his trusted enforcer had been killed, his rage exploded. Drake immediately ordered his men to regroup, arm themselves, and prepare to hunt Ryan down. That night at the inn, Darcy was startled by noises outside. She jumped up, handgun in hand, ready for trouble. But Ryan recognized the danger first and urgently told her to hide behind the front desk to stay safe. Minutes later, the front door creaked open as Drake's men entered. Ryan stayed calm, waiting until they were close. Then he signaled Darcy to cut the lights. Darkness filled the room, followed by the roar of gunfire tearing through the silence. When Darcy flipped the lights back on, she froze in shock. All of the gang members lay dead on the floor. Ryan, unharmed, quickly realized they couldn't stay there any longer. Wasting no time, he took Darcy to find a safer place. But outside, enemies were waiting. They ambushed him, beating him until he blacked out. When he woke, he was tied up and dragged to the gang's headquarters, with Darcy captured beside him. Ryan's arms were strapped tightly to a chair, leaving him unable to move. Drake stood before him and coldly promised that both he and Darcy would die after Darcy was tortured first. He ordered one of his men to torture Ryan, then stepped into the next room. the hulking enforcer began beating Ryan brutally. But in a sudden twist, Ryan broke free from the ropes and fought back. Ryan struck with precision, overpowering the larger man and knocking him down. Without delay, he moved through the ship. Now the gang's headquarters focused on escaping. Along the way, Drake's henchmen tried to stop him, but he cut them down with ease. Soon, he found Darcy, bound and gagged. He freed her without hesitation, and together they searched for a way off the ship. But Drake wasn't about to let them escape so easily. Knowing it was time for the final showdown, Ryan told Darcy to go and face his enemy alone. Before the fight started, Drake coldly said he remembered him, the cop whose family he had murdered. He had thought Ryan was dead after that night. The two then clashed in a brutal one-on-one battle. Drake was strong, but Ryan's skill was greater, and he eventually knocked him to the ground. Thinking it was over, Ryan stood in victory. But Drake, battered and desperate, grabbed a knife and tried to attack from behind. Just as he was about to strike, FBI agent Frank arrived and shot him dead, saving Ryan at the last moment. The FBI saw this as their chance to finally end the terror Drake's gang had spread across the town. Frank, knowing Ryan's worth, decided not to arrest him. Instead, he let him go, believing the fight still needed men like him. Ryan left the town, telling Frank their paths would meet again one day. The film ends with Ryan storming a building and opening fire on a group of people. These men are the last of Drake's henchmen, the ones who murdered Ryan's family. Now Ryan has come back, fueled by revenge and determined to destroy those who ruined his life. The message is clear. If you plan to wipe out a gang, it helps to be a former cop with a vendetta and a talent for making explosions your signature move.